Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and tonight I'm going to share with you a story that relates to this central bank of the Suriname 25 golden banknote. And I am just so excited, so bear with my enthusiasm. I will get to details of the note in a minute after I share my story. Let's look back far too many years ago to my teen years when the Olympics were held in 1988 in Seoul, Korea. I loved that particular Olympic Games. I especially love the water events, and having grown up in the panhandle of Oklahoma, which has about as much dirt as the ocean has water, I had a particular appeal to the sports that were water related in these games. I enjoyed them thoroughly. And I remember watching the races one day hoping that Matt Biondi was going to win another gold when all of a sudden he didn't. And what was amazing about the whole situation was that we heard a new national anthem at those games, one that had never before been heard, and it was from this country, Suriname. And we saw a young man ascend the podium and receive a gold medal for his country, the first athlete to do so in the games at this time. And it was very impressive. And it was a water event. It was like a butterfly stroke, and I was very pleased to be able to see that live in person. So imagine all these years later, I start collecting coins, and then from that banknotes, and I discover this very interesting banknote. And the thing that first got my eye were the track and field event, athletes in the top left-hand corner. But that wasn't even it, guys. As soon as I bothered to turn this banknote over was when the real... Well, give me a second, guys. Was when, for me, the real notable part of this banknote took into effect. I didn't say that very well, but there you go. On the back of this note, we have a toucan, and we have a gentleman swimming in a race, and it's very neat to see a banknote with an athlete in action. And since this was in the early 1990s, there weren't a great deal of notes that had athletics in action. Since then, Singapore has had some, Russia has definitely had some, Korea has had some, New Zealand has had some, and it's no longer the rarity that it was back in the early 1990s. And so I did a little research and was very pleased to discover that the man on this note was Anthony Nesty, the guy who had won that gold medal in the Seoul Olympics, and because of his win, the world got to hear the national anthem of Suriname. So I was very pleased to get it, and it has been in my collection for quite some time, quite a number of years actually. It's a very easy to find banknote. You can get it for less than $2 if you comparison shop for it, but I was very pleased to get it. Recently, I had looked online to see if there was anything else to do with this note, and discovered that Anthony Nesty resided here in the U.S. And so I did a search and found out that he was located in the Florida area. In fact, was doing some coaching for a university in Florida. So I went to that university's website, and I found a link to his email because he's now the head coach. He had been an assistant and is now the head coach of their swim team. And I wrote Mr. Nesty, and he agreed to do something very nice for me. He agreed to sign a note. So there you go. I have a banknote with the person on the banknote who has signed the banknote for me. And I really appreciated his kindness. He sent me a card, and he sent me the banknote, and it just made my day. The energy I felt and the happiness I felt to have such a unique numismatic item is very impressive. It's very common here in the United States for people to collect banknote signatures that have had, of the Secretary of the Treasury and the Treasury, and then actually have them sign their note too above their signature. So it's not unheard of, but very rarely do you have a banknote where the person on the note has actually signed the note as well. So I'm very pleased to have this note in my collection. I want to thank you, Mr. Nesty, for your professionalism, your courtesy, and your kindness with a fan who is not as young as he was when he first discovered you on the world stage. I really appreciate it, and this will be a numismatic treasure in my collection for the rest of my life. Now let's get to this note, because there's some neat things about this note. I'll go ahead and put it on this side and we will begin. This is a Suriname 25 Golden, and my particular note is dated 1998, but it was first issued in 1991. It is multiple colored, and I used Wikipedia, the Standard Catalog of World Paper Money, and the Banknote book to get more information on this note. The Standard Catalog of World Paper Money calls this a PIC 138, while the Banknote book calls this a B524, and it was printed by the firm of Delarue and Company Limited. If you haven't decided to subscribe to my channel, please do so. I'm at 320 subscribers, and I think I could handle a few more at this point. So if you haven't considered subscribing, please do so. On the face of this note in the upper left-hand corner, there are two athletes who are runners, and I was wondering if anybody might be able to help me identify them, since we have identified the athlete on the back of the note. They are wearing numbers 336 and numbers 254. If that is any help, I would appreciate any help identifying this note. And the building in the middle is the Central Bank van Suriname headquarters. And I thought this scribble was interesting. And I thought, well, was that a mistake in the engraving? Were they just going to put another little vignette there, and they just forgot to do so? But whenever I looked up the facade of this building on the Facebook, that same scribble is there, so it must be a thing. I don't know what thing that is. If you do, please share it with us. In the bottom right-hand corner, right here above the denomination, is a hibiscus flower. There is a solid security thread that can be found over here to the right, and there is a watermark of a toucan, which you can't easily see right there in that section. There is a black horizontal serial number right here and a red vertical serial number right there. And also underneath the golden right here, I found some micro printing, and I believe it just states the name of the bank over and over and over again. There is a color band over here, and at first I thought maybe I haven't decided. I thought this might be the flag, and then I discovered that it was. And these bands of green that surround bands of white that surround a central band of red represent the flag of Suriname. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button to the right while I turn this banknote over for you to see the back side. On the back side of this note, we have again a splendid engraving of a toucan. And the toucan is with some hibiscus flowers right here as well. And then in the center we have the Olympic gold medalist Anthony Nesty swimming the butterfly stroke. And I've seen some online reports that it was just representing a swimmer doing a butterfly, but whenever I Googled image Mr. Nesty, that's him. That's his profile, that's his nose, and that's his pattern of having his mouth open when he's coming up for air. The arms of the nation, or the sigil, as my friend in Hong Kong would say, can be found in the upper right-hand corner. Mr. Nesty was born on the 25th of November in 1967 on the island nation of Trinidad. And when he was very young, the family immigrated to Suriname, where he began to swim at a young age. He first competed in the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, and he placed rather low in the rankings, and so he transferred to a swim team in the U.S. and trained. And in Seoul, Korea, he hit gold in the 100-meter butterfly. He's only the second South American swimmer to win an Olympic gold medal at the time. He is presently the head coach for the Florida Gators, and I can't tell you how pleased I am that he was kind enough to a fan to autograph a banknote that had him on it. Collectors of flowers, flags, athletic events, butterflies, whether the critter or the swimmer, water, birds will want this note for their collection. It's kind of neat to see water bubbles and foam and water droplets on a note. I think that's very cool indeed. It has been a pleasure to share this note with you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them. Again, click that subscribe button and enjoy my more than 110 other videos. I am Benjamin. This has been Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.